continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
Marion Fowler has confessed that she was the unidentified driver in the hit-run accident that nearly took Allison Mackenzie's life. Now it remains to be seen what the result of this confession will be on the career of her young husband, District Attorney John Fowler, and what bearing it will have on the murder case he is now trying. The People versus Rodney Harrington.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Have a cigarette?
I just assumed you didn't.
John.
Don't worry, my mind's on the road, not some beach cottage.
Oh, will you stop that? I told you nothing happened. John, please slow down.
You want to drive?
Every time I see a telephone pole or a signpost, my heart stops.
And banging out a lot of angry words on that machine isn't going to do anybody any good.
You can badger Fowler, and Allison won't get better a bit sooner. Thank you, Connie.
Now, what makes you think I'm concerned with badgering Fowler? I'm a newspaper man, Dad. I've got a job to do, and I'm doing it.
I can see it on your face. I've known the expression for a long time. The first time was at the age of 10. You'd just seen Luke Bailey kick a dog. You got very mad. You went after him for all that you were worth. Luke Bailey got hurt worse than the dog, but you almost got killed.
It was worth it.
For you, maybe. You got 2 broken ribs, and you spent 3 weeks in bed. Bailey was out the next day.
You don't think I'm big enough to take on Fowler, eh?
All I'm saying is you'll have a good life if you just stop trying to right all of the wrongs.
You don't think Fowler knew anything about his wife?
He must have. Can you imagine something troubling me and you're not knowing?
You two are a lot closer than most couples, perhaps because of all you went through before the wedding. There's some men and women who have lived together most of their lives and still are like strangers to each other. Besides, there are a lot of things to keep a man from putting 2 and 2 together.
Like political ambition and what a black mark will do to it.
I didn't say that, and I don't believe it. Even if it were true, what would it prove?
Blind him to the public interest, and he's not fit to serve that public.
And when you use the words public interest, I feel that you're promoting something that you're not very proud of.
Elliot has a right to speak out, editorially. Even if it is his own daughter, I'd be disappointed if he didn't. How do you think I felt when Marion Fowler told me she not only hit my daughter, but went away and left her? And I'm not sorry any more than Elliot was when he hit Luke, what's his name?
Have you finished with that thing?
Yeah, help yourself.
A public statement made the police at Peyton County Courthouse today. Well.
What is it? What did he write?
He wrote the facts, pure and simple.
No editorial comment?
No editorial comment. What did you expect to find, anyway? A call for a lynch mob?
Well, no, but...
I'm sorry if I disappointed you.
No, but I am surprised. I did expect some righteous indignation between the lines.
Well, the lines of the Clarion are set a little bit too close together for that. So says the editor of the Clarion. But Allison's father is going to find out just exactly how much John Fowler knew.
Well, there it is. But you must just about have the contents memorized, don't you?
A little different perspective on it now.
Oh, you mean Mrs. Fowler's statement?
Mm-hmm.
Elliot, leave it alone, huh? Mrs. Fowler admitted she did it. Let the law take its course.
What I'm wondering about is why the law didn't take its course a lot sooner.
Hey, hold on. Now, that's hitting below the belt, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Look at this garage report on the dent in Mrs. Fowler's car. Do you remember it? If it had been checked out the way all the other reports were, she'd have been found out right away. Instead, it was hustled right into the dead files and buried there. And I want to know why.
Elliot, hold on, huh? Will you try to be understanding? Look, he's got a tough job, and now his wife. I wouldn't put him on the firing line. You know, he decked that young bone bender from the hospital when he barged in on him.
Who, Gary? Why?
I don't know. He told me he wanted to see Fowler about your daughter's case. I assume he meant the hit and run. But that's not for publication. I just want you to know the pressure he's under.
He doesn't know what pressure is yet.
Wait a minute, Elliot.
I have waited.
For me?
I'm sorry, Elliot. I didn't know you were here. Come into my office. Sit down.
No, thanks.
Is that Allison's file?
That's right.
And you want to talk to me about the garage report on Marion's car?
You're right again.
Elliot, if your wife told you she dented her car in the garage, would you doubt her?
That's not the point. There was an all-points bulletin stating that all damaged cars had to be inspected and the owners questioned in connection with the accident.
I know there was a bulletin, but my wife told me she damaged the car in the garage.
And you didn't think any more about that?
No.
Oh, boy. You know, I read somewhere where a good trial lawyer had to be a good actor, but... All right, you didn't question your wife's story when she first told you about it, but what about after she left town? Didn't it occur to you that she might be running away from something?
Only from me. We'd been having problems.
All right, what about this here, then? That's a record of a telephone call from an unidentified woman in San Francisco inquiring about Allison's condition. Didn't it occur to you that that might have been from your wife?
The county police get dozens of anonymous phone calls every month.
From San Francisco? And how can you dismiss it as anonymous when you knew your wife was there?
I didn't know she was there.
Oh, come on, Fowler.
It's the truth. I told you we've been having problems.
Boy, I don't know whether you're lying to me or whether you're lying to yourself. But at any rate, you don't belong behind that desk. And you don't belong in a court of law.
You're entitled to your opinion. But right now, I am behind this desk. And if you'll excuse me, I have a case to prepare. Marion? Yes. I'm flying upstate tonight. I'll be back in the morning. Well, I'm going to the Capitol, Marion. I don't have time to discuss it now.
You know, I'm tired of that dining room downstairs. Can we eat somewhere else tonight?
Let's find someplace out of the country. I'll get it.
Did you hear the news about Fowler's wife?
No, what about her?
She was the one who hit Allison. She came back here to tell the police.
Fowler's wife?
That's right.
How do you think this will affect the trial, Stephen?
I'd like to think it would help us, but I'm not sure.
You're not in Boston, Stephen. This is a small town. By tomorrow morning, everybody in that courtroom will know that Fowler's wife was the hit-run driver who put Allison in the hospital. Everyone knows how close Rod and Allison have been.
Well, they also know that before this unfortunate accident of hers, Mrs. Fowler was on the board of every charity in the county, did volunteer work at the hospital 4 times a week, was kind to stray dogs, etc., etc. A beautiful criminal with such a strong sense of right and wrong that she returned to confess her heinous crime.
And you don't think it'll force Fowler to give up the case?
I don't know what to think right now. All I know is that Fowler is shrewd and capable of landing on his feet.
How?
I don't know. But I did feel obliged to let you both know what had happened.
And I'm glad you did, Stephen. Now, it's up to you to make the jury, and if need be, the whole town, see this from our point of view. You've got to make them see the risk Fowler's taking if he stays with the case. Tell them he's putting his career on the line, and why. Is it because he wants to see justice done, or because he wants revenge on the Harringtons? Now, if they say justice, then ask him how he could overlook a criminal in his own house.
You'd make an unbeatable trial lawyer, Mr. Harrington.
That's beside the point.
May I say something? This is all beside the point. Now you and Fowler can play games with the jury about Rita's past and Gus Chernak's death and Fowler's wife for years and years. You can send that private detective of yours all around California trying to dig up something on Stella Chernak from now till doomsday. But I'm tired of being on trial for murder, and that's what this is all about. Please, can't we just put these other things aside for the time being and get back to the essentials? And in case it slipped your mind, it's Joe Chernak's death. Question, who knows what happened? Answer, I do. Well, question, why the devil don't you put me on the stand and let me get this thing over with?
I'll give you the answer, Rod. Those things, those non-essentials you talk about, those are the things that go into making up a murder trial. Now, the more of them you have in your favor, the more chance you have of an acquittal. You need those games, those non-essentials, because you are vulnerable. Good night, Mr. Harrington.
Do you agree, Dad? Do you think he's right?
Yes, Rod. I do.